Everything starts in the mind. Before you achieve success, before you change your life, before you break through any limitation, it all begins with a single thought. The difference between those who succeed and those who stay stuck is your mindset. Your mind can be your strongest weapon or your biggest enemy. And here's the truth: whichever one it becomes is completely up to you. This topic was fresh on my mind while I was making the commute to work the other day because I was fighting with my own thoughts in real time. Now, this isn't the only time this has ever happened to me, so I have become consciously aware of when these kinds of thoughts start to intrude my mind. And sometimes they aren't too challenging to fight off, and also sometimes they are far more difficult than I anticipate. In this particular instance, I was thinking about work. I have somewhat recently taken on a new challenge with another department that has been struggling for a long time. My job was to learn all the ins and outs of the department and work towards becoming that department's supervisor as it desperately needed oversight. So it's not micromanaging oversight, but someone who could come in and build a team and foster an environment of teamwork and discipline. This department is vital to my company's overall mission, which is to become the premier beverage manufacturer in the United States. It requires meticulous consistency and attention to detail and is extremely important from a food safety, HACCP, and GMP standpoint. And my boss felt like I had the skills that could get it turned around. Now, working with a team that has had little to no direction maybe was difficult, and I knew that going in, but it's another level when you start to get your hands dirty and begin to see the situation firsthand. So, long story short, it has lived up to the challenge that I expected it to be, which in turn has started to cause my mind to feed a bunch of malarkey about how I won't be able to succeed, that it's too hard, yada, 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 yada. You get it. So, how many times have you let that little voice inside your head tell you that you're not good enough, it's too hard, or you'll never make it? That voice is sneaky. It disguises itself as logic, as reason, as being realistic, but in reality, it's just fear of failure, fear of discomfort, fear of the unknown. And the worst part, most people don't ever realize they're under attack. They wake up every day stuck in the same patterns, making the same excuses, convincing themselves that they're not ready, that they don't have what it takes. And because they believe those thoughts, they never take the first step. They lose before they even begin, not because they weren't capable, but because they surrendered to their own self doubt. And here is what took me a while to understand: your thoughts are not facts. Just because your mind tells you something doesn't mean it's true. And the moment you start questioning those thoughts instead of blindly accepting them, that's the moment you take back control. Your mind's job is to keep you safe. It craves comfort, routine, and the easy way out. And at one point in history, that made sense. Our ancestors needed to avoid danger just to survive. But in today's world, that same instinct is what keeps you stuck. Your mind is always will always push you toward what feels familiar because familiar feels safe. It will tell you to stay in your comfort zone, to take the path of least resistance, to avoid anything that brings you discomfort or uncertainty. But the problem is that comfort doesn't lead to growth. Growth happens when you push beyond what's easy, when you learn into discomfort instead of running away from it, when you stop letting fear dictate your decisions and start making choices based on who you want to become. You have to take control, not your doubts, not your fears, not the excuses that show up every time you try to level up, because the second you start calling the shots, things will begin to start to change. Your mind's job is to keep you safe. It craves predictability, comfort, and routine because those things feel secure. It whispers, stay where you are, don't take risks, don't step into the unknown. And if you listen, you'll stay exactly where you've always been, stuck. Because the reality is that comfort doesn't lead to growth. Growth is uncomfortable. It's messy, forces you to face fear, push past self doubt, and step into situations where failure is possible. But that's the only way you get better. Every time you set a goal, your mind will try to talk you out of it. It will flood you with excuses, remind you of your past failures, and convince you that you're not ready. But you are not your thoughts. You are the one who controls them. You can let your doubts decide for you, or you can take control. You can let your fear dictate your life, or you can take action anyway. Because the moment you stop listening to those excuses and start making decisions based on where you want to go, that's the moment everything changes. So you have two choices. Either you let your thoughts control you, or you take control of them. Letting your thoughts own you means living a life on autopilot, believing every doubt, giving in to every excuse, and staying trapped by the same limiting beliefs that have held you back for years. Trust me, I know. It means reacting instead of deciding, hesitating instead of taking action, and letting your fear dictate your future. But when you own your thoughts, everything shifts. You stop being a passenger in your own life You recognize that just because a thought enters your mind doesn't mean it's true. You challenge the negativity. You replace doubt with determination. You choose discipline over comfort. Now, of course, this isn't easy. It takes awareness and it takes repetition. But if you don't take control of your mind, it will take control of you. And that's a battle you cannot afford to lose. So, how do you stop your mind from holding you back? That's a great question. How do you break free from the thoughts that keep you stuck? It all comes down to three steps. Step one is awareness. You can't change what you don't notice. Most people accept their thoughts as truth without ever questioning them. But you have to start recognizing the lies. When your mind tells you, I'm not good enough or I'll never succeed, stop and ask yourself, is this fact or is this fear? The moment you become aware of these limiting beliefs, they lose their power. Step two is to challenge it. Just because a thought appears doesn't mean you have to believe it. Your mind says, I can't, respond with, watch me. It says, I'm too tired, replace it with, one more rep. It says, I'll fail, say maybe, but I'll grow either way. The goal isn't to eliminate self-doubt, it's to override it with stronger, more powerful beliefs. And step three is to take action anyway. The biggest lie your mind tells you is that you have to feel ready before you start. Guys, your feelings don't control you. Your thoughts don't control you. Your actions do. Discipline is doing what needs to be done, even when your mind is screaming at you to quit. Because when you push through the resistance, you prove to yourself that your thoughts don't own you. You own them. And when you master that, there's no limit to what you can achieve. And so the difference between winners and losers is not talent. It's not luck. It's not even intelligence. It's control. Losers let their thoughts stop them. They feel doubt and believe it. They feel fear and retreat. They face resistance and back down. Every time their mind whispers, it's too hard, you're not good enough, or what if you fail, they listen. And that's why they stay down. But winners feel the same doubts, the same fear, and that same resistance and move forward anyway. They don't wait until they feel ready. They don't let emotions dictate their actions. They understand that discomfort is part of the process. That fear is just a sign that they're stepping into something bigger. Winners don't have fewer negative thoughts. They've trained themselves to act despite of them. And that's the mindset that separates the ones who achieve their goals from the ones who never even start. Your thoughts don't define you, your actions do. Your mind will try to hold you back. It will throw doubt, fear, and excuses in your path. But you don't have to listen, because if you let your mind win, you lose every time. You'll stay stuck watching opportunities pass you by, wondering what could have been. But if you win over your mind, if you take control, push past resistance, and act in spite of fear, there is nothing, absolutely nothing you can achieve. If you are serious about taking control of your life, I want you to check out this video next, where I go over how to overcome doubts and negativity from others that will help you prove that you have what it takes to become the best version of yourself. Choice is yours. Who's in control? You or your mind?